You need to stop being the victim of your life. You need to stop being the product of your environment and actually be the creator of your success. If you don't adopt that mentality, you'll be exactly like I used to be. When I was younger, I saw myself in the mirror and I saw the people around me, and I thought that because I was different, I was not as attractive. And because of that, I said, you know what? I just didn't win the genetic lottery. I guess talking's not my thing. I'm not going to be a people person, never going to be the popular person, never going to be the respected person. Might as well just be an introvert, right? And I lived like an introvert for a very long time. The victim mentality is the mentality that the world and your environment and your genetics have already determined your success. And you're just this sob story that's like, I wish I would have done this, but sorry, I just wasn't given the right genetics. To really break the victim mentality and be the person that actually does what needs to be done, you have to really understand the way that your mind works. And I'll give you an example so you genuinely understand. I'm going to touch on it later as well. And it's the example of an abusive relationship. I know it seems dark, but I need you to really understand this, okay? I want you to actually pay attention because this is what saved me. This is the reason why I'm sitting here in front of the camera right now. Okay. So in an abusive relationship, right? What happens is that the person who's getting abused, doesn't get the treatment that they deserve. They're maltreated. They are not valued. They're basically treated horribly, right? But if you know anything about those relationships, you'll notice that people who are in abusive relationships seem to stay in those relationships. And if they don't stay in those relationships, they find someone else who is also abusive. They just get stuck in this system. But why? You ask why. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why would you stay with someone who doesn't treat you good, right? It seems like this huge con. Like, if you think about pros and cons list, like a scale, right? It seems like an incredible con, right? You don't feel good ever. You feel horrible. You lose your self-worth. What is balancing this on the other side? What is keeping you with the person who is abusing you? What is the thing that is holding you from leaving, right? It doesn't make sense. Isn't this a crazy con to have no self-worth? What is over here that is balancing that? And it's the fact that because they don't have self-worth, they don't have faith that if they leave, you know what, will the grass actually be greener on the other side? Because from my perspective, I'm this horrible person. I have no self-worth. People don't like me, right? So why would I attract anything that's beautiful and good into my life, even if I leave? Why? Why would that even happen? And so now with what they're really comparing is a life right now that they know, that they understand, that still is horrible, that they don't feel good, right? But the alternative is a life that they don't understand, a life that is not familiar, that they also don't feel good in because they think that they just deserve bad things in their life. Now, how this relates to the victim mentality is because the victim mentality is a sign that there is an abusive relationship within yourself. The victim mentality is the tool, it is the blanket that your mind uses to protect itself. Okay? When a person who is in an abusive relationship leaves finally, right? And they actually find someone who is actually good and treats them well, it's almost like they don't even trust that person who is good because, you know what happens if I finally put all my hope in that this person's actually good? Like, I actually have faith that this person's good. And it turns out he actually becomes abusive too. Then all my trust in the world is gone. All my faith in the world is gone. It really sets in stone that I am the common denominator. I am the person who is bad. When you have a victim mentality, you're saying, I cannot afford. I am so scared that I can actually hope that I am worth something, that I actually try. And then my heart still gets broken. I find out that I'm actually not worth anything. That is what the victim mentality is. It is a blanket to protect you from actually putting in your hopes and dreams and then failing. It's saying that I'd rather just be this introvert. I'd rather just be the person that no one really likes. I'd rather just be the quiet kid rather than having the hope that I can actually be the person that people want to talk to. Having that hope and then having it shattered. That was what it was for me. That was the belief that I had to break. It was not just, oh, I had to be responsible. No, that's not all it was. It was the fact that I was afraid to actually believe that if I went out and talked to people, that they would still not like me. And then it would completely solidify that I will never be worthy of being liked. That's what I had to face. And to destroy this victim mentality, the single greatest tool, psychological tool that I used was asking myself, what is the worst case scenario? And it seems incredibly mundane and easy and boring, but it will save you so much time, so many good decisions. I promise you, think about it, right? From my perspective, what I said was like, okay, I'm this introvert right now. I've thought this way for years, but I want to be the person that is popular. I want to be the person that can easily speak to people and be charismatic. I knew what to do. I knew the practices that I needed. I read it from the Charisma Myth, but I had to actually put it in practice. And so I asked myself, what is the worst case scenario that happens if I go and just talk to a random girl at the mall, right? What is the worst case scenario that happens if I just go talk to the random girl at the mall? And if you think about it, okay, maybe there's like a 3%, 5% chance, I'll be generous. Maybe there's a 5% chance that this girl that I talked to at the mall doesn't even respond, that just ignores me. There's a 5, let's be honest, most people are not going to do that. That's literally the worst that's going to happen, right? There's a 5% chance that I'm going to try to speak to someone and they're just going to ignore me. I'm going to be honest, there's nobody who is actually going to be mean to me. There's no one who's going to yell at me. No one does that, right? So that's not even an option. The worst thing that someone can do, if this is a girl I'm talking to at the mall, the worst thing that she can do is just ignore me, right? And that's a 5% chance. Majority of the time, she's just going to respond to me, say a couple words, and then just leave, right? Because she doesn't know me, right? That's a majority of the time. And then there's this tiny, tiny chance that she actually stays and has a conversation with me, right? Those are like the 3 really main possibilities that can happen if I just go talk to a girl at the mall. And when I thought about it like that, I was like, this is what I'm afraid of? That a girl that I'm never going to see again in my life ignores me? This is what I've been hiding from? And suddenly, it was so much easier for me to go and talk to people. Basically, you have the idea that whatever you do, something is going to hurt you. Something's going to hurt you. And because something's going to hurt you, it's either the hurt of being where you are right now, which is familiar to you, or the hurt of doing something that is new, but is not familiar to you, right? So you're always going to pick the familiar version. But if you realize that there is actually no hurt in going ahead and trying whatever you're going to do, then your brain will be like, oh yeah, it's fine. And it'll be so much easier to choose the unfamiliar path. So once you understand that, it's time to move on to taking responsibility. Your life is 100% in control. In your head, you just have to accept that fact. If you do not accept that fact, you will just give all this responsibility, all this power to somebody else. You'll give it to the world, you'll give it to your environment, you'll give it to the people around you, and it will always control you. You will never have true free will. To have genuine free will and love of your life, you have to, even though it's terrifying, accept control. Say, I am the reason for why I am where I am in life. I am the reason for why I am unsuccessful. I am the reason for why I can't speak to people. I am the reason why I'm uncharismatic or not charismatic. I am the reason why I don't look good. I am the reason why this person doesn't like me. You are the reason for everything, okay? And instead of just accepting, oh, someone else did this, I need you to have a passion for going ahead and fixing your problems. Don't just sit there and say, like I did, oh, I'll just be this introvert, because that's really just a cope. That's all it is. Accept that. You have to push forward and find the problem. Nobody cares. Like, genuinely, nobody cares about your sob story. No one cares. You have to be the one that fixes it. Everybody else, genuinely, in their mind, no one's going to say this, but everybody else wants you to fail. Because technically, if you fail, I have a better chance to win, right? That's basically what it comes down to. Everybody else doesn't really actually root for you. Even the people who are in your corner, they're not really in your corner. The only person that you've actually got is you. So all the problems in your life, there is no point saying that, oh, I lost the lottery. All right, it's whatever. It's still your life. No one else is coming to save you, bro. So you got to go ahead and change it. And the best way that I've found to actually control your life is to access the real power in life, which is knowledge. That's where power comes from. And I'm going to be honest, it's everywhere. There is so much knowledge everywhere, and it's in books. And when I was younger, I used to be the kid who was like influenced by everybody. I was disgusted by books, and I was so afraid to read. But I want you to really think about it. There are millionaires, there are billionaires, there are people who are so successful in every scape of your imagination, in every realm, who know how to speak to people, okay, who know how to build the best body, who know how to get the best sleep, to optimize your health, to make money, to get good at sales. Like anything you can imagine. There is an expert, and honestly, I don't even know why people do this, let's be honest. There are experts that genuinely just give their knowledge for free, basically, because if you can get a book from the library, that's free. They're giving you their knowledge that got them so successful for basically nothing. And obviously, probably they're not going to put 100% everything that they know into that book. Yeah, okay, fine. But let's be honest, they're going to put a good amount of knowledge, and you're going to understand the way that their mind sees the world. And that is arguably more important than the specific tactic or strategy that they use to get there. So if you can read that book and understand their mentality, how they see the world, I promise you, you will get ahead. And if you're sitting there just looking at me and saying, I don't like books, books are for weird people, who likes reading? I don't have time to read. I will surpass you. And there are so many other hungry young guys. I didn't even know the amount of young guys that are so hungry for success until I actually started posting, until I actually got into some communities, until I started knowing that there are people like me who are way more successful than I am, who have so much more, I can't even comprehend. If you're looking at me right now and thinking that you don't want to read because you don't need that knowledge, oh, I don't really need it, you will be surpassed. What you want, the car, the house, the girl, the respect of people, mentors, a life of freedom. What you want, everything that you want, will be taken away from you by me and the people who are like me, who are massively successful already at a young age. You will be surpassed by them if you do not read. All right, so now an actual tip I can give you, if you're a young guy like me who didn't have much confidence when speaking to people, start working out. It's literally one of the greatest things that you can do to build your confidence. It will change the way that you look at yourself in the mirror, change the way that other people look at you, and it will boost your confidence immediately. All right, work out. Preferably, and don't give me any excuses about oh, I can't drive to the gym. Start with calisthenics. That's what I did. That's what I still do. I've never really been to an actual gym. Okay? 2, practice social skills. Read The Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox-Cabane and practice your social skills everywhere. Whenever you see someone, fist bump. See another person, fist bump. I don't care. Make it like a goal to speak to 5 new people every single day. If you think you can do that, actually do it. Okay? Actually do it. It seems easy, but I promise you it's a little bit difficult. You gotta remind yourself, I don't care. If I have not spoken to 5 new people today, I gotta go back. Like, even if I'm leaving school, right? If you're in school, even if you're leaving school, you turn around and you walk right back through the door and you say hi to 5 new people every single day. It's a real quick practice I can give you to improve your social skills. All right, so I hope you understood the main gist of this, right? You got to understand the victim mentality for what it is, and then accept full responsibility and read books, because I promise you, you can change your life if you actually wanted to. And I hope that this video inspired you to actually want to and gave you the tools to begin that journey. I hope you got something from this video. Go out and conquer.